Just gonna try to get everything set up here. Hopefully things will look good on my end and your end. Let's see where we're at. Okay, looks good. Maybe.
Okay, it looks good.
Oop.
Maybe it looks good.
All right. Good evening, good evening, good evening, friends. This is Tara with Tarabeth Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Mid-Missouri. If you're on watching tonight, give me a shout out. Let me know that you're watching. And where you're from, if this is your first time. Tonight, we're going to continue on with our Christmas cards. We are going to do a fun fold, which I love to do greeting card holders. So this is going to be for our gift card, not greeting cards, our gift card holder. And I don't have a gift card on my desk here. I wonder if I have. No, sometimes I have like a little room key that I use, like a hotel key that I use for my inks and putting those on. But this is going to be your little slot for your gift card right here. And so we are using the Sentimental Wishes, Sentimental Christmas DSP, along with Peaceful Seasons and Peaceful Evergreens. So we're going to get started. So this is the bundle that we're using. So we're using this Peaceful Evergreens. And what I did was I die cut this little tree here, this like little, hey Rosie, thanks for joining. It's like this little outline and then this smaller tree and layered them. So I cut 3 of those and I use that with shaded spruce. And then I'm using the little trees for the inside. And then for the Peaceful Season, if this is an amazing set. I've had this for a long time and haven't hardly used it, but great dies here. So this is a really beautiful die right here. This is the one I used for the card front. And then I use, there's some really great sentiments here and fonts. I love the fonts that are on this. So let's get to it. I'm going to set these out of the way and we'll get to it. Let's see here. Let's stamp first tonight. All right, so there's the inside. Here is our envelope. Hey, Sharon, thanks for joining. Ooh, that slid out of the way. My desk is kind of a mess tonight. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spit out this gum. I put some gum in right after dinner, and I kind of have a tendency to get a little obnoxious with that. All right, so there's this, and then there's this beautiful little sentiment thing for the front. So let's get going. I've got some shaded spruce here. We're just going to use shaded spruce tonight. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up that tree line from Peaceful Evergreens. And I'm going to do that. Now, the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blending brush and add a little bit of ink on here and kind of go along. Now, this is a distinctive stamp. So you're going to have different. The cool thing about those is you've got your different textures, like different amounts of ink that's on there. All right, I'm just going to do that right on the corner. So by adding just a little bit of extra ink, I'm just adding just another layer to that. So let's ink it up again. We'll put it, hey Amy, thanks for joining. We're going to ink this up again. And I'm going to just add a little bit of ink, just kind of on the corners of like the edges of the tree, just to give that distinctive stamp just another layer of texture. All right, we're going to do this right on the corner here. Set that to the side. Then let's see here. So this is, let's see here, a season of wonder and happiness. So this is from the Peaceful Seasons, and I'm going to do it on a piece of basic beige that I've die cut already. I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to make sure I've got more ink on there. There we go. I'm going to stamp that right there. And then we will stamp the inside sentiment. So once again, this one's from Peaceful Seasons as well. Hey Karen, thanks for joining. We're starting to get a full house here. All right. Now, the cool thing about these photopolymers stamp sets is you can see right through your block, and it'll let you know if you need to add a little more ink. Sometimes when you use those blending brushes, it pulls a lot of ink out. So it'll give you a nice, good indication of whether you're going to need that to re-ink it or add some more ink to that stamp. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. These are going to dry up. Because it's a green ink, it uses a little more pigment, so sometimes we need to let them dry a little bit. All right, now we're going to get to the card base. Ooh. I didn't have my scorer here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got a piece of basic beige, and this is measuring 4.5 by 9 3/4. So these measurements will be available on my blog tomorrow. So check that out. So 4.5 by 9 3/4. Now we're going to score at 3 1/4 and 6.5. That's it. That's all we need for the whole card. We're using that Simply Score tool for that nice deep embossing score line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this over, and we're going to make sure that it lines up on the sides and where we have a nice straight edge here. Then I'm going to bring my bone folder over here, and I'm going to give it a nice good crease. So I'm going to kind of hit that sides really well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to accordion fold that and fold that back again. Give it a nice good crease. And I got to tell you, I haven't been a huge fan of basic beige. I like it. I didn't love it. But this weekend, I'm totally team basic beige. This is awesome. I used it a ton this weekend. Okay, now I'm going to bring my original card out here and kind of make sure that I layer it correctly. So what I want is I want an open at the back. And so this is the way it's going to open up. So that's how you create those different layers. Now I have a piece of Poppy Parade. This is measuring at 5 1/4 or 5.5 by 4 1/4. I have a piece of that Sentimental Wishes DSP that's got those vintage Christmas trees on it. And if that doesn't make you think of your childhood, you're way too young. Yes, Rosie, thank you for putting that out there. If you're watching and you want to subscribe, make sure you hit that subscribe button and get those notifications that we're going live on Sunday night. So I'm going to add a little seal here and just put that down. That's leaving that 1/8 of an inch on each side. Now we're going to take that seal again, and we're going to add this to our flap here. So we're just going to create that nice 1/8 of an inch. Oops. I think, did I cut my paper wrong here? 4 1/4. Yep, I did. That's okay. We'll just have an 1/8 at the top and the bottom and more like 1/4 on the sides. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to show you what I do. Okay, we can go ahead and put the inside on there. That's our inside sentiment. And I'm putting it on the top flap here. And I'm going to have to fix this. That's going to drive me crazy. Let's just fix that right now. We're going to peel that back. And it doesn't matter that I'm tearing the base because there we go. Because we're going to cover it right back up. Toss that. Let's pull out another piece of DSP here. Thank goodness it's right here. Unless, of course, I'm out of that one. Never fear. I've got 2 packages. There we go. Now let's bring this. This DSP is beautiful. Karen, you are not even kidding. And when you know it, my blade just fell out. But that's okay. Nope. Those are the old blades. I found 2 packages of those old blades for our old trimmer. So if anybody needs them, reach out. I will be glad to find a new home for them, or if you know somebody that's loving that old trimmer. All right, here we go. New blade. We're ready to go. All right, now let's see here. So that was 3 1/8. This is what I need this top to be, by 4 3/8. All right, now we can fix that, and I won't hate it. So yes, love this DSP. It was kind of hard to work with in the beginning because it is pretty busy, but quite honestly, if you just let this do its job, that's perfect. All right, this is better. This will not drive me crazy now. All right, now I have a piece of, I think it's 2. Yep, it's 2 inches by 4 1/2. This is how we're gonna do our card base, or our card slot. So I'm going to show you a little trick on what I do to do that. So you can line it up on your grid paper, or if you're like me, you're going to have a 0 center ruler. So let's see here. We're going to do probably 2 1/4 on each side for my center. So if you'll notice, if you've never used a 0 center ruler, what I've done is I've got 2 1/4 on this side, and I've got 2 1/4 on this side. So this bottom shows me the centimeters. So 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and then you get 4 1/2. And then I'm going to mark this with my pencil. Now, of course, you could just eyeball this. It's not that big a deal, but I don't like to eyeball things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm lining. So what I've done is I've added a center mark on my punch, and so I'm going to line that up with the center punch. I'm going to bring this back to right there, and that way my loop is right in the center. Okay, now let me open up this drawer again, and I'm going to get some tear tape. So you can use Seal, you can use Seal Plus, you can use liquid adhesive. But for things like this, I like to use tear tape just because I want it right at the edge, as close as possible, so that I have room to stick that gift card in there. Here we go. Throw that in there. Let's find, that's not the one I want. This is the one I want. So here's my take your pick tool. I use this to get this adhesive off, and it just tears right up. So I use this on with a lot of fun folds for that extra strength. So now, because this is the same size, I can just put it down at the corner and follow it over there to that corner. And then that's made just to slide that gift card right through there. Okay, now let's add this to the front. Now we'll take the Stampin' Seal Plus. So I love to use different adhesives. They all have their purpose. All right, so I've got that Stampin' Seal Plus, just did 3 little things. I'm gonna open my card up this direction, so I wanna make sure I have my directions going, because this is the top on this card, this is the top on this. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that down. Looks like I need to go over just a scotch. And that's a precise term. Here we go. And then I'll seal that down. Hey Sonia, thanks for joining. So there we are. That's our card base. Now I have 3 of the more detailed evergreen trees from the Peaceful Evergreen die cut set. And then I have the tree outlines. So we're probably going to need that. Yep, here we go. So what I did when I did the detail ones is I used a little bit of the adhesive sheets. I like to use that with intricate things so that my glue doesn't get gross. I'm not a huge fan of liquid glue. A lot of people have the patience for that garbage. I just don't. So I like the adhesive sheets a little bit better. So I'm just sticking my take your pick tool there and just pulling that off the back. So that makes this whole thing sticky. So I want to pull this down a lot and make sure that my tree lines up before I seal it down. Okay. Now the other thing you could do is you could also use the foam sheets just to give it a little more dimension if you wanted to do that. All right, peel this one off. I'm gonna stick that right down there. Just kind of seal it as I'm going up. Give it a little tap. Sonia, thanks so much for sharing. I appreciate it. All right, and now we've got one more. We're just pulling it right down here, doing basically the same thing we've done with the other three, except that one's really wonky. Oh, you know why? Because I had it the wrong direction. That's why it wasn't lining up. All right. Here we go. Okay, so here's our little trees. So what I'm going to do with the first one is I'm going to take a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals and put it in the center. And then we're going to work our way out. So we have just a couple of dimensionals here. And we're going to put that right in the center, or as close to the center as possible. Now I'm going to take some seal and we're going to shimmy that under, and I'm going to pull it down just a little bit. Here we go. To kind of give it another, just another layer of effect. Another piece of seal. We'll pull this one in there. Okay, so here's the start of our card front. Now we've got, oh man, my sentiment just smudged. Well, that's okay. We'll just die cut another one. Let's see here. Looks like anything that can go wrong is going wrong tonight. All right, here we go. Now I'll bring this out, and hopefully this will cut well with my little mini cutter. Hopefully, hopefully. So I'm just gonna layer it up with my mini plates. Make sure I get it right there in the center as well as I can. And I'm gonna clamp that down and give it a little whirl. So I hold my plates down together as I'm cutting, as I'm getting my sandwich started, and then once it goes. All right, let's be a little more careful with this one. Like I said, that pink, that dark pigment ink does take a minute. All right, so I'm gonna weed that out of there. Get rid of that. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of seal and put it right there, because I'm going to feed my ribbon. So I have the satin and sheer shaded spruce ribbon, and I'm just gonna feed it right into the center of that opening. And I just want it to pull it over just a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna push that down because that seal is gonna hold it in place. Now I'm gonna take my scissors, and I'm gonna give me quite a bit of extra on this end. And And then I'm going to feed it in here, but I'm not going to put the seal down just yet. Just because I don't want that to fray. So I'm going to pull my seal up. And there we go. I'll pull this flat. And then I can seal it down. Okay, take my scissors and do a diagonal cut on that end. And a diagonal cut on this end. And my ribbon scissors have disappeared. So, need to find those. Okay, so here we go. There's our sentiment there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals right directly where I want my sentiment to go. And pull that up. And then set this right here. All right, just about done. I pulled a couple of gems here. So this is the gold textured adhesive back dots. And we're gonna do over there and over there. All right, so a cute little fun fold for gift cards to give away at Christmas. That was today's card. Now the only thing we have left is to add a little bit of liquid adhesive to our envelope flap. Don't forget we have our joining special this month, $155 here in the US for $99, and that includes free shipping, which is always a plus. So, would love to join you. Give me a call, give me a shout. We can chat about the benefits. And even if you just have a long wish list, get your wish list, save a couple of dollars. 30% off kits right now. If you use my host code, you get a PDF for a class using Nothing More Than Autumn. More than autumn. Yep, there it is. All right, so here's today's card. Thank you so much for spending part of your Sunday night with me. I appreciate it. We'll see you back here on Sunday night next week with another card tutorial. Have a great week.